After the meeting in the office, so it'll be very good.
Yeah.
Good. We'll have plenty to talk about after tomorrow night, so,
Something going on tomorrow night.
well, it's going on all day tomorrow, isn't it?
I don't know. Oh, yeah, that, yeah, but that was I'm already done.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good evening, Mr. Nelson, how are you?
I'm great.
Is
How are
it,
you?
Which circle?
I'm in there.
is it a cemetery?
Yeah.
Check.
Is it the 162 or is it the full? Okay, that's what I thought. I did it, I figured it.
Okay, yes, that is correct. Yes, you're in here.
How about you? Yeah, like twice. We took the kids to the tree from 6 to 7, so we just said, "Oh, we can't go." And we got it gone. Filled it up again.
I know it gets my mom, she's over, she said that, but I think we're going this time. A lot more day, of course, the farthest is that. Yeah. That always makes a difference. Nothing to see done, everyone's
Okay.
I saw it.
Oh, and, I'm gonna scan this.
Yep, that's a good idea. I think I've got some that you have not scanned.
I was gonna say, I've been keeping the originals and then I scan to you guys, but I'll do whatever you like.
It doesn't matter to me, but if you look back and find out you're missing some, let me know what they are, and I will, I'll just get it.
She's been practicing her Wednesday face for 2 months.
Looks just like her.
Big deal.
So, executive session, SDCL 1-25-2-. At the bottom it says 1 is employee personnel, 2, 3 is legal, blah, 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 4 is contract. What happened to 2? There's no 2-2?
You're asking me?
Yeah, well, I don't know.
I'll find it.
I'm asking.
School?
1-25-2.
Oh, they're at the bottom.
I know it, but there's a 1 for employee personnel, there's a 3 for legal, and there's a 4 for contract.
Technically,
What's number 2?
125-2 encompasses all of them because.
No, he's asking 125.
2-1,
Right.
Yeah.
-2, -3, -4. There's no -2. There's no 2-2.
He's just curious as to what the second.
Oh, there might be a 2, but it doesn't pertain to us.
Ah,
It pertains to school boards, I think.
oh, she said school. Maybe it's specific, yeah, that could be.
It is related to school. It's the discussing the expulsion, suspension, discipline, assignment of or the educational program of a student or the eligibility of a student to participate in interscholastic activities provided in the South Dakota High School Activities Association.
Gotcha.
That's right, we can do that.
Okay, well, we've been school. We'll open the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Meeting open at 6 p.m. and I would ask for an approval of the agenda, but before we do that, one note, item 13 may have to happen right at 7 o'clock. It depends on the arrival of our code enforcement officer. And at that time, we will be asking for a motion to enter into executive session for legal / pending litigation, contractual matters. So, if you've had an opportunity to look at the rest of the agenda, and now you know about item 13, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Marcus?
Go for it.
I've got Melissa and Marcus. Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. How do you vote?
Aye.
Opposed? 5 yes. Approval of minutes from October 5, 7, and 19 council meetings.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for October 5, 7, 19, 2010.
I'll second that.
That was, excuse me, Darla and Linda.
Yes.
Motion and second. They've been made and seconded. Any discussion?
Yes, I sent you an email. I don't know if it just was too late to do anything about it. If it was already published, I think it's for the meeting on the 19th. Did you not get it?
You're gonna have to refresh my brain. Oh, it was something about, I guess I didn't know from your email you wanted a change.
Yeah, and I can't remember specifically.
I don't think it was the 19th, I think it was the 7th.
Are we talking about the voting on the motion? Is that what we're talking about?
No, it was just the narrative of events that, like, I
Correct.
think it was in there that I had said something and I don't think like it was, like the stories were swapped. It was something that Marcus had said and
Okay. Do you want to view them?
Be a good idea to do that now.
Okay.
If something needs to be changed.
I can pull it if you want you to.
Pat?
Wait.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah, this was the part that was, so this happened first, and then Marcus said the thing about precedent.
So are we talking about maybe an order of flow?
Yeah, and I think it just makes it sound like I did say that, but that was before that, and then Marcus said something about the precedent thing.
Okay.
So it's just a little,
Reordering.
Okay.
and then,
So would it be acceptable if those two sentences were reversed?
yeah, and did you get the email or?
I did, but I didn't know that you wanted it changed.
So,
would you like to not approve these and we approve them at the next meeting and we do the change?
I guess we can do that, because I have another, for the same meeting. Let me read through this quick.
Okay.
For the voting, under SDCL 6117, Vickie Larsen should have recused herself. from that vote under statute. And the only cure for that under the statute is that we just nix her vote. Mr. Nelson, is that your reading of the statute as well?
Yes.
So it would just be
I voted aye.
right.
Okay. And then, would you say that Vickie Larsen abstains, or?
I don't know, how would we, if you're
I mean-
statutorily obligated to abstain and then you don't, how do you word that?
I suppose you could say she refused to abstain or chose to cast a vote.
But the final vote would still be,
I say if anything, we could say per the statute.
because it doesn't change the outcome of anything, but.
No,
No. Just, yeah, just, if you, I remember what you're saying, I just think.
But there was no refusal by
You
me.
annotate-
Not
You
public input.
annotate that she attempted to cast a vote or made a vote no. Whether it was a legitimate vote is a different question.
I believe, if memory serves me correctly, I called for the vote. I mean, I called, it was.
Individually.
Yeah, it was a
Roll call.
Right.
called vote, and I mean, I called for the vote, so.
I don't know how to, I don't know what the remedy for it is.
I mean, it's
Under
like you said,
statute,
the outcome is the same, however, making it right, I don't know what to do to make it right. So I think it is a good idea. We do not approve, which meeting was that? The 7th?
Yeah, this is the 7th, sorry.
Okay, I'm circling the 7th. So basically what we're asking for is approval of minutes, and if there is no approval of minutes on any given meeting, we will then address that meeting or those minutes later. We have currently a motion on the floor to approve the minutes of October 5, 7, and 9. Motion's been made and seconded. We've had some discussion. Is there any more discussion? In that case,
How can we,
well, it can be not
The motion denied.
approved. It's entirely up to you how you want to vote on this motion, but the motion is on the floor.
You could withdraw your motion. Yes.
or it could be amended?
Or it could be amended, yeah, so
So could I amend the motion?
Yep,
I amend the motion to approve the minutes from October 5, 7, and 19 to just minutes of October 5 and 19.
I'll second that.
Okay, so now we have to vote on that motion, that amended motion first. Hold one. Darla and Dave. And all right, there's an amended motion on the floor, or amendment to the motion on the floor. You've heard it. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, how do you vote?
I,
Opposed? 5 yes. Now, with that amendment to the original motion that Darla made earlier and Linda seconded, is there any discussion? Hearing none, how do you vote?
I,
Opposed? 5 yes. And off we go to item number 5. And it's a call for executive session for council interviews.
And it does not look like we have any candidates here.
And we cannot move on to item number 6 at this time, so we will do an end around on 6 and go right to item number 7, public input.
I have public input. I'm going to go back to cash back on credit card, second notice. That needs to be taken care of properly when you're giving it back. If you're going to engage in banking activities, that's going to get you in a world of hurt. So just giving you the second warning.
Second notice of what?
Second notice of giving cash back on a credit card.
What about it?
Well, you'll have to read the minutes because what it is that when I went over looking at it, you're giving somewhere around $200 to $300 cash back at the golf course. Somebody comes in, I want to charge something, but I want to charge $50 more and get that back in cash. That shorts the city, it costs the city money, and if you're engaging in banking practices, that's going to get you in trouble. So, just the second warning. In answer to your question, can I read? Yeah, most assuredly I can read. And,
My
I'll
question?
give you that.
Who asked that question?
I asked you if you could read.
Melissa,
When did I ask you if you could read?
I never heard her ask the question.
October 7th. So,
I asked you if you could read?
yep,
On October 7th?
yep.
Okay.
Okay.
And I can read, and just going to give you a heads up there. So, that's everything. Oh, yeah, that's everything.
Is there any other public input? Hearing none, we will go on to street updates. Lonnie Johnson.
What is this? What are you giving me?
Well, you gave me one of those, and I thought you wanted me to look it over and critique it.
I gave you, I've never seen this before.
Well, that'll help you when you go to take your bar exam, dear.
Thank you, Vicki.
You're welcome.
Back to topic at hand. Street updates, no Lonnie Johnson present. I don't know if there are any real street updates currently. Did the lines get repainted, or have they not done that?
I noticed that they were not done. I have not followed up with them to know why.
It's not going to get better weather
Right.
than we're about to have, so it should be addressed.
Okay?
I can't think of any other street-related updates.
There's a bolt missing on the dip sign over by Quonset.
Huh.
I was gonna talk to Lonnie, but I haven't seen. I'll mention it.
Yeah.
You know,
Any one of us can at least give them a heads up.
the sign's gonna be flopping in the wind next.
Is it on Lincoln, across from Carol Porcelain?
Yeah, around the curve there.
Right where that dip is.
Not related to necessarily the streets, but the street shop, they're in the process of doing some work on the office area, straightening and finding some issues, so I'm sure that we're going to see some changes there. That building has been neglected. We'll just leave it like that for right now. I don't know what all is going to come of it. So we'll move on to number 9, water, wastewater.
I asked Dale if he had anything, and the only thing that he said is the pumps are on order, so we are just waiting. Other than that, everything is going
And we knew that was going to be an extended wait anyway, correct?
correct.
And we haven't got any timeline as to the shut off, or aren't they gonna need to do the water shut off now?
Oh, for the community center?
Yeah.
I hope to have a timeline. I don't have a definite date, but as soon as I do know one, I will let you all know.
They did have, well, I'm sure we'll talk about that more later on. All right, then we're done with water and wastewater. How about if we move on to the police department updates? Chief Christie is here, I know.
Just wanted to bring up that 210 Dakota Street again. The gal did ask about signs. I didn't speak with Lonnie at all, I guess, but any more on it. I didn't know if anybody had thought over the month, had any ideas about child at play or.
That's the disabled
Deaf
child.
or deaf child area, or?
She originally approached us asking for like a deaf child at play sign.
Yeah.
Austin and I have spent some time there in the morning doing some school patrol just for them, because that it is kind of the bus comes down Dakota Street there, so we spent more time there, but she was under the impression that we were a no on the sign, and I told her family, I don't think that's the case, it just, nothing moves very fast.
Exactly, it's just gonna take you to decide what.
Yeah.
When you were patrolling in that area, did you notice, I mean, I don't know whether this is a young male or female, but the child, does it appear as if there's kind of an attention issue that?
He did good when I was there, and of course, when there's a cop car sitting there, traffic's really slow, so.
Well, I suppose.
So there was no issues while I was there. I think the fastest was 18 miles an hour, so. But that's with the marked patrol vehicle.
Is there somewhere, chief, that we need to order those signs just so they can be made specifically?
I want to say we can order signs through the prison, Pat, do you know?
Normally we get them from Harrisburg,
Okay.
or we get them from, there's a company that we order them from. And they have ready-mades, or you can make your own.
Does a company like Uline have something that's,
It's
Legitimate?
possible, I've not looked for signs from
DOT
Uline.
approved? I mean, that's all it probably needs to be. And I would think Uline would be less expensive than some places, but maybe I'm wrong.
No, they're pretty low overhead at the penitentiary.
Well, that's probably true too. That's a good point. The next time you do have some dialogue with them, you can let them know that it is not a no.
Right.
It's a, how do we do this appropriately
Sure.
thing? And we're doing it as fast as we can. We're just
Yeah. Maybe we can sit
want
down
to
with
make sure
Lonnie.
it's done
too.
right.
Maybe Lonnie's got a better idea, but yeah. All right. I guys get stats in front of you. I highlighted some of the more serious calls. I know people like to think that we're in Mayberry. I assure you, we're not. There's a darker side that you don't ever see, and it's my job to make it so you don't see that, but I just wanted to just look through that. One of them, I put a picture at the end of the stats. There was we did have I coded it as hazmat materials. We had a guy cleaning up a property, and he found old military bazooka round, RPG round, and a warhead from a bomb. I haven't run across that in my career yet, but it's just, you wear a lot of different hats, I guess, as a cop, but worked through it. I had the military respond from Minneapolis. The Air Force Base people came down, and they x-rayed them on scene. And then if we had to blow them up, we were gonna blow them up possibly at the dump. Long story short, they were active rounds. They x-rayed them, and there was nothing active in there, so they just picked them up and went back to Minneapolis with them. So, but that being said, little public awareness deal, and I learned along with this as well, if kids or anybody does find that type of stuff, old military rounds, grenades, dynamite caps, the blasting caps, I guess, cause a lot of injuries. The goal is don't touch it, don't move it, get a hold of us, and now I'm an expert in knowing who to call. So. Yeah, that's all I got, unless you have any questions.
I appreciate the highlights. I think that's important for, I mean, it doesn't necessarily let us know who was involved, but it
Right.
lets us know approximately how many of these were a little bit more serious than just drove through a stop sign
Yeah.
or whatever.
And a lot of those get coded as a welfare check to start out with. We go on an alarming number of suicidal subject calls. Like, it's high in my opinion, but it's everybody. It's all law enforcement. So it's not just us.
Would you say that has increased with the whole COVID-19?
I would say yes. I've seen a rise in that. So. That's all I got.
On the 12th, chief, the burglary, was
Yeah.
that a house or a garage or?
It was reported as a business. Good chance unfounded, but Austin was doing the investigation on it. So.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, we will move on to the Pleasant Hill Cemetery / landfill.
The landfill lock and keys have been replaced.
Wonderful.
So the only people that have keys are city employees and Alcota. We also, out of the cemetery, were given a gift for some trees. And we're doing the evergreen type trees, so fall or this time of year when they go dormant is the time to plant them. So they will be planted hopefully this week. So we don't have them yet, but the containers were brought over to TNS Nursery for their collection.
What are they gonna be? Do you know? I mean, we're talking 3 foot.
They're 5-foot trees.
Oh, really?
Are they gonna go in that north fence where the gaps are?
I'm not sure if they'll go in the north or some in the east as well, because we've had to take out quite a few trees in the east.
Did you say it was a gift?
Yes,
Just like from-
Basically a donation
A
in a
donation.
monetary amount saying it's 4 trees.
we received a monetary donation of $500, and we presented that to TNS to see what we could get for trees, and we are going to get 10 trees.
Not bad.
Takes a lot of water to fall. Do we have a water tank we can use?
We have a water tank, yeah.
Good.
All right, then we will move on to number 12, golf course updates, library.
As of, well, actually Sunday, we stayed open an extra day, being the weather was nice. We're closed at the golf course. The irrigation system has been blown out. So now we're doing spraying for the broadleaf weeds. Started that today, hope to finish it in another day or two. And then we're mulching up some of the leaves that are falling. So things are pretty quiet out there. There were some golfers out today. I imagine they'll be this week.
Right, as long as it's decent out, I can people.
The clubhouse isn't open.
So no treatment of the greens has happened yet, or, and that probably wouldn't happen until it got a little bit colder anyway, right? Or,
We put the treatment for snow mold on just before the first snow.
okay. So there's the thing that I would only be concerned about is, you know, if it gets to be 80 degrees December 8th, you know, there are gonna be people that are gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna go out and hit some balls.
Yeah, but the stuff we put on is, unless you're licking your shoes,
Right.
it's not gonna hurt you.
Yeah, okay.
You can walk across the green, and it's just fungicide.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Library,
library.
We've had one of our library board members resign due to conflicts with work and other things, so I'll be trying to find somebody new to replace that. We have one more meeting we'll have this fall. The library board is required to have at least 4 meetings a year. And we need to have one more meeting yet this fall. Hopefully it'll be to indoctrinate and approve the new board member. I guess if somebody has a suggestion, they can get that to me and contact the person.
Okay. Anything else, sir? As far as item number 13 goes, I think we could go to item 13C right now, and then circle back for A and B. Is that correct?
That's fine.
So the employee manual update.
So
discussion.
I can provide you a little bit on A and B too, Mr. Mayor, just there's gonna be specifics we have to discuss in executive session. For Iowa Street, an administrative inspection warrant was signed by Judge Byrne on the 28th and is in effect. More on that later. 204 Ofsted Street, working with the family to get title transferred. There's a little bit of an issue in how that's going to happen, and I'll explain that more fully to the council in executive session. The employee manual update, Alderwoman Kai went through one more time a while back before she sent the manual to me. I reviewed her email and the edits, and they're fine. And then I did add the policy under, I think it's 6.4, that the council had approved with respect to insurance, and then updated the appendix with forms in the back. So as best I can tell, the manual is ready for prime time. It's already been adopted. And I don't, Melissa, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do not believe there were any, aside from the resolution with insurance that we passed, there were not any major substantive changes. It was more grammatical.
Yeah, it was nothing that would change an actual rule.
Okay. So, the old version of the unedited version of the manual, without Alderwoman Kai's edits, is still in place with the new resolution, as I mentioned. So if you wanted to, you can propose a resolution adopting the edits at the next council session, and then those grammatical changes become effective, and we're working off the current manual. Either version you look at is, for all intents and purposes, going to tell you what you need to know if you're looking for guidance on anything.
The only thing is it would include that addition.
And I did email that out to all of you today, so you do have it in PDF one.
So I don't know how the rest of you feel, but I think it would be a good idea to just make one fell swoop act when it's complete. So review that, and the next meeting we'll discuss it further. All right, because of the fact that there are some legal updates that are going to be needed to be revisited, we're going to leave A and B as unfinished business currently. We do have a couple of minutes before 6:30 when I will need to open these sealed bids. Can we move into the item number 14, City Street Sign Replacement Project, and see where we are there?
Yes. I did contact the people that, the South Dakota DOT, and it's a good thing that we did, because the people we had dealt with previously are no longer in those positions. And so I have a new contact, his name is Wade Dahl, and he is going to tell us, or he did tell me that the project is scheduled for 2023. And, yeah, that is when we expect the signs to be replaced. He said at this point, we haven't started the design, and that typically takes a year and a half. So.
They're green with white letters. I mean,
Highly reflective,
it's
large.
the design of a rectangular sign.
I think it's where to put that rectangular post.
So, anyway, that's what I was told, so.
Well, sign design, it's good work if you can get it, yes. Well, in just a few seconds, it will be 6:30. I have here in my hand a whole stack of sealed bids. They're still sealed. And they're in the order in which they were received, and that is how they will be opened. They're dated and time logged as to when they came in. And we'll start with this one, it being 6:30. bidder, Dale Jorgensen, $257.79. 257.79. Name of bidder Tori Merrick. Bid price $225 even. Name of bidder GT Step, George Thomas Step. Bid price $251 even. Brian M. Christensen. Bid price is $355 even. Name of bidder Dale Jurrens. Bid price $352.50. And there is a check included in this.
What was it again?
352.5. Oh, it's difficult to read. Jim, is it Feldhicker? Bid price $412. Luke Hartman, bid price $225 even.
What was the last name?
Hartman, Hartman, I think it is. Sheriff Dan Limoges, bid price $191. Well, it's hard to read again. John, I don't know if it's Way, W-E, it's either G-H or W-Weck,
No, John Way,
W-E-G-H,
yes.
okay? Bid price is $416, 416. And Richard Ackland. Bid price is $355.
So the winner would be John Way.
Highest bid is
All weird numbers.
And that was how much for?
$416. Jim Feldhacker was 412. Those were the top
Right.
two.
And then Brian Christensen was third,
His
355.
name is John.
WGH.
Brian Christensen and Richard Ackland bid the same.
Oh. So, according to the bids, John Way has the high bid. What is your wish on this?
I think we should award the purchase to highest bidder, John Way.
Is that a motion to do that, or?
Do we need a motion to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And if I might make a suggestion, I don't know if it'd be something the chief could do, or if we need to talk to the state attorney. I guess the only thing I would tell you is maybe make it contingent on looking in a database to ensure that he's not a felon, which I'm sure he's not, or that he doesn't have a domestic violence conviction in the past year, including owning that. Is that something you can do, chief, or? I don't think any of these guys would have bid, but.
Yeah, I don't either. I think they would know, they would be checked, but
You know, we don't open this up to people that are here that we don't want to raise their bid.
is that,
We did not put that in the
Okay.
agreement.
With that, then, I'll make a motion that we accept the high bid, $416 by John Way, Alcester, South Dakota.
Second.
I thought we wanted it contingent on the background check.
Excuse me. Contingent on a background check.
Second.
By
all right, the motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, how do you vote?
Aye.
Opposed? So, Chief, if you would be so kind as to get this information, there's contact information, he was good enough to give us everything, and maybe you're aware of who John Way is already. Yeah.
He runs the funeral home.
Yeah.
That would be why you'd be familiar with him.
Zombies.
Yeah.
Thanks to everybody that put in a bid.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I was actually thinking about doing the same, and now I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I've been shamed. Well, we still don't have our code enforcement officer, so let's move on to item 15. Old School Plan Development District. And I believe there's an ordinance that you've got in your packet that's called 2020-16 there. This would be the second reading and the motion to approve that second reading.
I'm sorry, did you ask for a motion?
Well, I'm going to give you just another moment, but I would entertain a motion to approve that second reading of ordinance 2020-16.
I'll make a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance number 2020-16, an ordinance of the city of Alcester, South Dakota, amending the 2018 revised Alcester zoning regulations by amending Chapter 5 PD Plan Development District.
I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. How do you vote?
Aye.
Opposed? Yes. There is a section here on executive session for legal contractual matters if needed. I believe that these would be in addition to the known legal / contractual matters that we will be going into executive session for at or near 7 o'clock.
Mr. Nelson, do you have?
I don't have anything additional that can't be covered in that one session, Mr. Mayor.
Then we'll move on to number 17, the finance office updates.
Our life is calming down outside of after tomorrow when the election is done. So after the meeting tonight, I would just ask your assistance to get this room ready for the voting tomorrow. Other than that, the last few weeks I've been just working on the website, which I will just give you an update on that now. I do have the bones of the site ready. I did talk with Alliance, because they are the ones that are hosting the site that we have right now. And we have two options as far as updating it. If we either change the location and have someone else host it, or we work with Alliance and point a different website to it. And in speaking with the tech support at Alliance, they just said, move everything so it's all under one company. So I did start that procedure. It does take a few hours to populate. It was officially done on Friday. So I will check that tomorrow. And I didn't get a chance to do it today, but I will check that tomorrow. And then once that is done, then I will assign email addresses for all of you under our site, because that will be part of this hosting. And once you all have email addresses, then I will give you the tablets. So, because I'll put the email address on the tablet. And
What did you decide for how to name the email addresses? Is it just like generic Ward 1, Ward 2?
Yep, that's what I'm going to do. So
Good idea.
the bare bones that I have on the site is I do have a calendar of events on the front page and important things coming up or dates to remember. I do have all the ordinances on there, both planning and zoning and municipal ordinances, and I have 2019 and 2020 agendas and minutes. So as soon as I can get it live, I will let you guys know so that everyone is free to log into it and get the information they want. So, and then it'll be a working, living being at that point forward then.
Would we have the ability to live stream meetings from the website? Or is that gonna cost, would that cost more?
I believe that it probably would cost more, but at least now, if for some reason due to COVID, we have to go into Zoom meetings, we will all have that ability, and then I can push the Zoom address and login credentials out for people that maybe want to attend remote. So, but live streaming, when I talked with Alliance, they said that is not an option. The best we could do is to provide the video after the fact. But live streaming, I could not do through Alliance. I have not asked this new company yet, so.
May I ask, what is the address of that site? The website, what's the address?
Eventually, it will just be the same address that we have now, alcestersd.org. The address will be the same, the layout will change.
Thank you.
Yeah, great news.
We've gotten some updates. We can move on to the warrant approval. If you've all had an opportunity to review your warrants.
Does anybody have any issues? I'll make a motion that we approve all warrants.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, how do you vote?
Aye.
Opposed? 5 yes. Letter D is 2021 operating agreements. There's a 2021 liquor operating agreement for the Alcester Bar / Dean Enterprises, Alcester Golf Course, and Total Stop Food Store. Those would need to be moved upon. Can they all be done simultaneously?
And this is not beer license, this is liquor license.
Correct.
Okay.
Beer, malt beverage licenses are July to June, and
These are calendar
alcohol
years.
are calendar, yes, or liquor licenses are calendar year. And I did talk to the state about adding the new community center property. And it was Marnie's opinion to go ahead and add it now so we don't have to do a transfer per opening date.
Will that cost an extra fee?
If we had to do a transfer, it would, but by adding it now, it does not.
So by saying Alcester Golf Course, that covers it?
You have to put in the legal descriptions. So I put in the legal
On the
description of
documentation.
our current property plus added the community center property.
I see.
Good call, thanks.
That is a good idea.
So when we're approving that, do we need to say the community center as well?
It's part of the agreement, so I guess it's up to you, but the legal description is already included in the agreement.
So this is one agreement that includes all of these
Correct.
descriptions? Okay, so
Well,
it's just a
there's
title.
one agreement for each entity.
The Alcester Bar has an agreement with us. The golf course does. Total Stop does. The golf course, though, just has 2 different locations.
But they won't both be operating at the same time.
Exactly.
One's gonna close, the next day it will open a new place. Hopefully. And how long it takes us to carry those bottles up there.
So if I just add Alcester Community Center in there,
Not gonna hurt
it's
anything.
not gonna hurt anything.
Nope.
No.
But I would need a motion.
I will make a motion to approve the 2021 liquor operating agreements for the Alcester Bar / Dean Enterprises, Alcester Golf Course, Total Stop Food Store, and the Alcester Community Center.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion. How do you vote?
Aye.
Opposed? 5 yes. Reminders and updates. Well, tomorrow, some of the ads and telephone calls are going to stop after 7 p.m. Election Day, as Pat mentioned, she would appreciate a little bit of help when we're done with this meeting tonight and rearranging things a little bit for the polling tomorrow. The new landfill hours, I know I got a document that actually listed those hours, and there they are, but it also mentioned something that is mentioned here, but the landfill, of course, closes the end of November. So that's something for everyone to be aware of. November 30th, the
Correct.
last. Veterans Day, the city offices will be closed. That will be 11/11. And Thanksgiving holiday, November 26th and 27th, Thursday and Friday, the city offices will be closed as well. Moving on to number 18, the HRC update. The only thing I really have in the way of an update regarding the HRC is that this Thursday at 6:30 PM, we will be having a meeting right here in this office. There's not an awful lot really going on right now. It's kind of status quo. It was an expensive year for watering the grass at that place, as everybody found. Keeping grass alive was expensive. So, I don't have anything else on that. We'll move on to number 19 and talk about the Alcester Community Center update. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's an awful lot of dirt that's moved around over there.
So
I think
yes,
I think the location for the building is leveled out.
and we're gonna do compaction tests. That's the next thing that's gonna be happening. So the trees are out on the west side, and the black dirt has been removed and placed on a berm, so debris will not go down the hill to the existing holes. The clay has been removed, and they're getting it ready to put the fill back in to build up for the parking lot. We have an electrical cable that Southeastern felt more comfortable if it could be buried a little bit lower, so that was done on Friday. And we will be getting a kind of a calendar or a schedule. As soon as I get that, I will share that with you as well, so you'll kind of know tentative dates of what's going to be happening. But right now, I believe we're waiting for Geotech to come down and do our compaction tests.
The electrical cable that they reburied, does that go from those transformers that are all the way on, I guess I would call it the southeast corner? And then where does it go, or where?
They're pretty important ones because they feed the Southeastern customers on Lincoln, Jefferson, Anderson, Beck. Yeah. So it was a big cable, so they just felt more comfortable if it could be lower.
Has that been done?
Yes, it was done on Friday.
Good weather for the dirt work. Boy,
Yeah.
I'm sure the snow really didn't hurt. It probably actually helped quite a bit in a way. It's encouraging to see that going on. I don't know if we have an actual EMS update. The most recent information I've heard from the director is that things are going quite well. They've had a number of calls. Obviously, they're very busy. Incidentally, I don't know, this was not mentioned, and it maybe should have been, regarding the fire department and their appeal for help. Has anybody seen that
Yeah.
in the mail?
Oh.
You got something that asks for donations, and if you donate, you know. I think that's something that maybe is a good idea for everybody to be aware of. The EMS could accept donations too. I mean, at any time, if anybody is interested, donations are welcome.
I did want to say, Mayor, EMS, they've been running. There's a lot that have been going down in the nursing home, and they've been on a lot of calls lately, so if you see any of those people, give them a thanks. They're busy,
Yeah.
and it's tough right now.
All right, we will move on to number 21, updating the volunteer roster for workers' compensation. Is there any addition or removal that we have to deal with?
I am not gonna make aware of if there's any new additions.
Okay. We're running out of things to do here to fill the 5 minutes of time.
I will call him and see if he's on his way.
That's a good idea. Not a bad thing to be running out of things to discuss at 7 o'clock.
Marcus, how's your color feel?
Well, I mean,
Oh,
we're taking
okay.
tomorrow
Come on
off.
in, we're ready for you.
Because it's election, so they just made it a holiday.
All right.
Which worked out really well, because
It's
then I
easy.
got asked to be one of the election board people, so now I'm gonna help run the election tomorrow. Starting at 6:15, so. So
Yay.
excited.
Just sleep here.
Honestly, I should. Because I'm slightly concerned I won't go, but it's fine. Especially since Tuesdays, I don't have to like do anything until 9.
Can we call you?
If you want.
Well, you know, your dad comes to the morning devotion, so you can just come with him and you can be right on time.
Probably, I did ask him to wake me up, be like, please make sure I'm awake, because I do not want to be late. He said, what time do you need to be up? I was like, probably whatever time you wake up is probably fine. So,
But you do need to pack your lunch or
Yeah,
whatever
all
little
day.
snacks you want.
that's what they
And we
said.
don't have a microwave or a fridge here, so it has to go in the cooler.
I'm excited, can't wait.
Well, we've got something that we have basically waited on here. I see Mr. Fillings and Mrs. here. And we would now need to go into executive session to discuss. Can we deal with both properties in one executive session? I would need a motion to go into executive session per SDCL 1-25-2-3.
I move to enter into executive session pursuant to South Dakota Codified Law 125-2-3, legal counsel, actual matters.
I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded to enter into executive session. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. How do you vote?
Aye.
Opposed? We're in executive session at 6:57 PM.
Mr. Fillings, Mr. State.
Yes. Mr. Fillings, Mr. Lee State, and I will shut this off.
Mayor,
Yes.
sorry if you have to hang tight for this one, because these are the properties.
Understood.
Is that,
That's, I think that's
They set up
Don't
a
change yours off, put mine on, don't change the placement,
just wild.
take a video,
Just stop,
and
you
then
know, at the
compare
beginning of the
as
block,
far
and
as-
just let them off, and this street and then this street.
and just see.
You may want to check things when I was in reading about licensing and stuff as far as liquor, having 2 locations. I vaguely remember something that doesn't allow that.
I'll do my best to find what you're talking about.
I can't, it's been a while ago, but I vaguely remember something about that.
Okay.
Just give you a heads up.
No, I appreciate it. I'll take an extra look. You have a good night.
Oh, I would.
Are you waiting for me?
No,
Okay.
no. I'm just, as long as there's a quorum, I'm just filling.
Oh, yeah, that'll work.
Yeah. It's cool in there all of a sudden. Before I wasn't, and I don't know, maybe it's a timer or something. Yeah, it did cool down. Uh-huh. Of course, it's,